Welcome to BootSpy. My name's William. Today I'm ranking all of my Thursday boots from my least favorite to my most favorite. Let's get into it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. As I said today, I am ranking all of my Thursday boots. I actually have 10 pairs and I'm going to order them from my least favorite. Make sure you stick around to the very end where I will unveil my number one most favorite Thursday boot. I'm gonna discuss what I personally think about these boots, how often I wear them, that kind of thing. So it's not that any of these boots are necessarily better than the others. I'm just gonna go through and after having experience with 10 different pairs of Thursday boots, I'm gonna let you know which ones are my favorite and which ones are personally my least favorite. As I said, I'm going in order from 10 to number 1, and my number 10 boot is the Thursday Diplomat. So this is one of the classic Thursday boots. They actually launched with the Captain, the President, and the Diplomat. And the Diplomat is probably of the ones that I own, my least favorite Thursday boot. And it's nothing to do specifically with this boot. It's not that this is a bad boot or anything like that. It has a 360-degree Goodyear welt. All Thursday boots are pretty much built exactly the same. They have a pour-on cork midsole. They have a 360-degree Goodyear welt. They have an outsole. That's pretty crazy. And many of the boots come with a rugged and resilient leather or a Thursday chrome leather. So a lot of these boots are really, really comparable. I would say they all fit the same, they all feel the same, they all have relatively the same break-in period. Actually, the Diplomat of all of them had probably the hardest break-in period, but I don't really count that against the boot. The reason why the Thursday Diplomat is my least favorite Thursday boot is probably just because of the wedge sole and the mock toe. I just don't really like this style of boot all that much. It's one of my least favorite styles of boots. I have the Red Wing mock toe, I have the Thorogood mock toe, the Danner Bull Run. So I have a large variety of mock toes, and when I actually compared a bunch of mock toes together, you can see that video where I compare it to the Mock Toe Massacre, where I compare all those boots together. The Thursday Captain was in my top 2. It was up there tied with Red Wing for my favorite mock toe boot. But overall, mock toes just aren't my favorite, and I think it honestly is just the wedge sole. I know that's really great for guys who have bad knees. Apparently this is very helpful, especially in a working situation, but to me it just kind of looks a little less refined. I do wear this a decent amount, but really in the fall. But overall, it's probably my least favorite Thursday boot. Coming in at number 9 is the Thursday Scout. This is another one of the early Thursday boots. This is in the Mocha Suede. This is their most popular version of the Scout. The Scout is Thursday's version of a chukka boot. So it's a very, very simple construction. You have one piece of leather for the upper, and that also goes to the tongue. And then you have 2 pieces of leather that attach at the heel right there. And so it's a very, very simple construction. You have 2 eyelets, and just one simple lace right there. This is a good boot, a good go-to for business casual, or if you wanted something a little more upscale for date night. The reason why I'd put it at number 9, again, is just because to me, chukka boots are really cool. They're great for date nights, etc. But I like something with a little more nuance in the way it's constructed. And other boots like the Captain, the Vanguard, their Explorer, the Logger, they're just a little more interesting to me. I like boots with a little more rugged edge to them. So while I do like the Scout, and I think at $149, this is an absolutely phenomenal value, to me, it's not my, of all the Thursday boots, it's not my favorite. Of course, with the Scout, you do have a 360-degree Goodyear welt. You have that stacked leather heel, the awesome rubber studded sole, and if you look at the heel right here, that top lift is quite thick. So this Thursday Scout, still a great deal, but when you're wearing any sort of chukka, this isn't just the Thursday Scout. When you're wearing any sort of chukka, there's a lot of wiggle room in the ankle, and I like it to be kind of pulled back a little bit more. And with the 2 eyelets, the thin lace, you're just not gonna necessarily get that. That said, if you're looking for something more date night, more business casual, then the Thursday Scout is a great budget option. At number 8 is the Thursday Logger. Now, I would have assumed this was gonna be my favorite Thursday boot when I first got it, but there have been just 1 or 2 issues that have bothered me a little bit, and it keeps it kind of more towards the bottom of my list, even though I do actually really like this boot and I get a good amount of wear from it. Now, the Thursday Logger looks very similar to maybe the Vanguard or the Captain. There are a few key differences. One is it's got this logger heel. So as you can see, it's got kind of like an indent right there. So that's a pretty cool aspect of it. It's also an 8-inch boot as opposed to being a 6-inch boot. One of the issues that I've had is that there's no speed hooks here. So this can take a significant amount of time to put on. because you have to lace up all of those things independently, and you do have to do about 4 or 5 eyelets to actually get your foot into the boot. So that takes a little bit, a little while. This is made with Horween's waxed cacao leather, and this is an absolutely incredible leather. I love the way this ages. I love how I took this out in last spring, got it super muddy, and it cleaned up really well, and it's a super durable, just a great leather. It looks really good, so I'm a big fan of that. I also love that it has a Vibram heavy rubber lug sole, so that is super durable as well. But there is one more weak spot with this boot, and that is with the rubber top lift right here. Let's get that into focus. That rubber top lift right there is about 1/2 centimeter or 5 millimeters. And frankly, when you compare that to just how rugged these, as you can kind of see right here, just how these rubber lugs are, the top lift does not hold up to, it's not nearly as durable. So this top lift is probably gonna go pretty soon. You know, if I was wearing this every day, I would expect this to last about 6 to 8 months. And then it's really easy for a cobbler to peel off the piece of rubber here and add a new one on. And I would ask them to add on one that is about 1 centimeter thick, not just 5 millimeters thick, because that is about the durability you want from this type of boot. Overall, the Thursday Logger, the leather is the strong suit. I wish it had speed hooks. I wish it had a heftier top lift, but it is made in the USA, and it's an awesome looking boot. So definitely check that out. This one is at number 8 on my list of Thursdays. Number 7 is the Thursday Cavalier. This is in the Shadow Waxed Suede. So this is a weather safe suede, so it will perform pretty well in the rain should you end up being in the rain with this. This is a really great boot. I like the leather outsole with the rubber studs. That helps add a little bit more traction. Sometimes leather soles, you can kind of slip all over the place. I get a lot of everyday wear with the Thursday Cavalier. I love that it's just this nice gray. They have a bunch of different great color options. When you compare this to the Duke, there's some interesting things to note. The Cavalier has a little bit more, it kind of like slants backwards a little bit more. So you have the top of the shaft in the front along the instep is taller, and you compare that to the Duke. So you got a little difference there. And another thing to note is that the heel of the Cavalier isn't quite as tall. So it doesn't like arch downward so much. There's also no pull tab, and that actually makes it a little bit more difficult to put on. I wish it did have a pull tab, but on the plus side, your pants don't ever get caught on the pull tab. That can happen. So the Thursday Cavalier, it's a really sleek, really good looking boot. It's a little more dressy because you get the heel or the leather sole. And overall, it is a good everyday wear in Chelsea. Number 6 on my list is the Thursday Explorer. So I got this in the olive waxed suede. This is a combat style boot, and it has the 4 speed laces right here, and then 5 eyelets right around here. So some say this is like a Timberland knockoff. I did a review on the Thursday Explorer. A lot of people were saying, oh, it's a Timberland knockoff. I don't necessarily think so. It does have the leather padded cuff up here, but it's more of a combat boot, not necessarily like a Timberland. Now, one thing I really did enjoy about this boot is that this sole right here is a Vibram sole, Vibram lug sole, and it's actually made with a foam rather than a rubber, so it has a ton of shock absorption, and it's also pretty lightweight. So the name of the boot is the Explorer, and I would say this is a great exploration boot, a great boot to go camping in. Because you're dealing with weather safe suede, it's gonna take, which I think is just a waxed suede, like, you know, this looks like a wax suede right here. So water just beads up, falls right off. If you need to reseal this boot, I would just rub some wax on it, some suede wax on it. Overall, it has a great benefit to this is that it does have a 360-degree storm Goodyear welt. So it's a little more, there's a little more leather right up here along the welt. And that's gonna help keep more water out of it, makes it more water resistant than a standard Goodyear welt. Not that it's waterproof, but it's pretty close to being waterproof, and it's an 8-inch boot. When you actually measure it from the heel to the top, it's 9 inches. So it is a big, hefty boot. It's not too heavy because you get that lighter foam sole, and it has a really cool combat look, which when you compare it to other combat boots, you know, like a Danner or something like that, they look like army boots. This one really does a nice job. My favorite thing about the Explorer is that it looks like a combat boot, but it's still very low in the profile. It has a pretty narrow silhouette, so it still looks stylish with a pair of jeans. It's just a really versatile boot for being a combat boot. Time to crack into my top 5. At number 5 is the Thursday President. This is probably my most worn Thursday boot, even though it's at number 5. This is my go-to beater boot. So if I'm ever gonna do any sort of chores, if I'm gonna do any sort of adventures, going traveling or anything like that, I put on the Thursday President because I got this in tobacco, rugged, and resilient leather, and I know it's up to any sort of challenge. Now, I do prefer the style of the Captain over the President because I just like the fact that there is a toe cap on the Captain. I did a comparison video between the Captain and the President. Really, the only big difference is that toe cap. There are some difference in the leather options. There's some difference in finding like a double E sizing. And if you want to know more about the difference between the Captain and the President, you can check out that video right up there. But overall, number 5, the President. This is a fantastic boot and it is my go-to adventure boot. At number 4 is the Thursday Wingtip, and this is unlike many of the other Thursday boots. This one is very, very unique. Obviously, you got the wingtip, but it's super narrow through the toe, and it actually has a squared off toe, which is pretty unusual. This is a fantastic dress boot. I am super excited about this one. I have not worn it very much. I've only worn it once or twice and I haven't even really gone out with it, but this is a very good looking boot. I am super excited about it. I love how the leather has this kind of irregular dye to it. I love the shine to it. I love the way it's put together. Again, you still have a 360-degree Goodyear welt on this boot. So unlike many dress boots that are Blake stitched, with Thursday, you can get a really well-crafted Goodyear welted dress boot that you know is gonna last a long time, that you can always get recrafted. But you also know that this one in particular is great for weddings, suits, any sort of dressy situation, or if you want to even wear with a pair of jeans and a sweater, something like that, you know, business casual, date night, this is a great option. Number 3 on my list of my Thursday boots is the Duke right here. This is a classic. This one has been around forever. I like the Duke over the Cavalier because you do get this little leather detail along the elastic goring. The elastic goring goes a little farther down, nylon pull tab, fully leather lined, beautiful suede. You can get a couple different options here. 360-degree Goodyear welt that is nicely done, and there is a nice amount of heel on this Chelsea boot. Overall, this is a awesome everyday Chelsea. I have been loving this boot. Many other guys have loved their Thursday Dukes as well. So this is my number 3, probably my go-to Chelsea, honestly, out of any brand that I own. This one's my go-to. Number 2 is my Thursday Vanguard. So this is very similar to the Thursday Captain, but it's got Horween Chrome Excel leather, leather laces, no speed hooks. The heel is a little bit higher, and it's also made in the United States. It also has in the midsole leather and cork, so it's all natural in the midsole, whereas most other Thursday boots have pour-on and cork in the midsole. So this one is kind of more of an American heritage style boot, but it looks just like the Thursday Captain. It's pretty much identical in terms of shape. You're just getting a little bit of different details in the leather, how the construction is, etc., etc. So that is my second favorite boot from Thursday. It is the Thursday Vanguard. And my number 1 most favorite boot from Thursday, I gotta give it to the classic, the Thursday Captain. I love this boot. This is the Thursday Captain Storm King. I actually prefer the Captain with the rubber studded sole a little bit more. I like the style of it more, but between the Storm King and the Captain, if you wanna see a comparison between those two, you can hit that video that just popped up right there. But there are so many different leather options, there are so many different color options, so many different sizing options with the Thursday Captain that I really gotta recommend this as my number 1 favorite Thursday boot. This is the boot that I recommend to everyone as their first boot if they're looking to just get into boots. At $199, this is a stellar value. I think it is the best value in boots out there right now, and it's the one that got me started. So yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, I picked up a pair of Thursday Captains, and I just wore them everywhere and totally beat them up. You can see what they actually look like now up in that review that just popped up. But yeah, this is the boot that started it all for me. That's what got me into boots, and since then, from checking out Thursdays, Red Wings, Wolverines, etc., etc. That's the boot that started it all for me. So for me, there's a big nostalgia factor with the Thursday Captain, and I'm gonna say it's my number 1 favorite Thursday boot. If you're interested in seeing any review videos, what I think about any of these specific boots, I have those down in the description below. And I also have links to detailed written reviews where you can see close-up photos, things like that on these boots. Also links down in the description below. If you found this helpful, please give me a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. I will have more Thursday reviews coming out very, very soon, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. Until next time, put your best boot forward.